If I can't bring my yarn, I'm not going. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kine and today I have 2 finished objects and 1 WIP on my needles to show you. Since the last episode we have been doing a little bit of a renovation of my YouTube corner. Maybe you can see I am really loving it and I can't wait to just sit in my corner and knit and have a good chat with you guys. I now have finished my Mandy sweater, so I do need some help to figure out what to put on my needles as my new WIP. I have put together 4 patterns that we can look through together. These are patterns that I potentially want to knit. I am craving some fall patterns that are cozy and that I can just cuddle up in when it's cold outside. Okay, before we start, I'm gonna tell you what I'm wearing today. I am wearing my tulip loop vest by Other Loops. This one is knit up in a yarn that I bought at the Sandnesgarden outlet, and on the package for the yarn it said that there was some variegation in the color. I don't know if you can see it, but there are like stripes. When I knit it up, it did give me some stripes. I don't mind it, I think it's beautiful. So yeah. That's my tulip loop vest. Remember to hydrate. So let's start with my finished objects. And my finished object number 1 is something I showed in the last episode. It is my petite pointelle lace, no, I'm sorry. It is my petite pointelle tank by Jessie May. And here it is. Why I decided to knit this one is because I was craving something in the pointelle pattern. I had finished my ivy top and wanted something a little bit more structured than that. So I decided on this fairly new pattern from Jessie May. I thought it was a cute and romantic pattern. That is why I chose it in the first place. It was very girly. I'm not specifically girly, but I do love a piece now and then that is pink or flowery or yeah. I knit this one up in the yarn Drop Spell in the colorway Dusty Rose. I found this pattern not easy to remember. That could just be me and my brain, but I had to look down at the pattern for each row. That doesn't bother me, but it does make me have to focus a bit more than if it was just stockinette. That said, I do love the finished garment. It is a beautiful, beautiful tank. Something I don't like about it is the hem. That might be only me as well, but the bind off on it was a bit too tight for my liking, but that could only be me as well. It had like a scallop edge bind off. You can't really see it that much on this one, I kind of feel, but maybe I should have bind off looser. So yeah, that is my petite pointelle tank by Jessie May. Next finished object is my Mandy sweater by Knitters and Friends. This is a sweater I was thinking was going to take a long time, but when I started knitting it, it just knit up so fast and all of a sudden I was done with it. I think it took me like one and a half week and then it was done. Oh. Here it is. This is my Mandy sweater. I knit it up in the cotton merino from Knitting from Olive in the colorway Blueberry Ice Cream. What I fell in love with for this pattern was that it was such a nice throw on. It was a slouchy and easy yet cool patterns. I love the details on the shoulders. Also, I loved the neck on it. I had to redo my neck several times because it was not coming out the way I wanted it to, and the first time it actually came out the way I wanted it to, it was too tight as well, so I had to redo it one more time. When I started it, I had just finished my pointelle tank, and I wanted something that was all over stockinette, mindless knit in the round. You know the feeling. I kind of feel like when I knit, it goes in like structured to stockinette and then back and forth between those two, because when doing a pattern that has all over structure, takes a lot of your thoughts and your focus, and going from a pattern that has that kind of focus to a pattern that doesn't have it is relaxing, to be honest. The pattern was super easy to follow, so I don't have anything bad to say about that. Something I did not like and that I had to redo was my arms. I first knit up the arms to pattern, but that meant that the arms was just as wide as this part of the arm. So I ripped it back, and then I divided all the stitches that I had on my needles in two, and then I cast off half of my stitches so it became smaller, and then I did the ribbing and the rolled edges. And I really like that because it fits my arms better, and this part actually kind of goes over the edging. I like my sweater or my arms to be that way. It really depends on the sweater, but when I tested the sweater after I had knitted up with the wide arms, I felt that it was too slouchy and I did not like it, so I had to try to fix it somehow. And I really liked the result that I got with doing this modification. I would definitely knit this pattern again. It was super easy and I loved how the sweater ended up. I would try to maybe knit it in the recommended yarn this time. I don't remember what the recommended yarn was. It is maybe some Sandnesgarn, something woolly wool. I will put it on the screen. Okay, that was my Mandy sweater. That was my 2 finished objects. So now I will show you guys my work in progress. And this is her. This is not, I'm not following a pattern on this. It is becoming a blanket. It is a mitred squared blanket, and I'm trying to use up some yarn that I had lying around. I bought some yarn on Temu that was super cheap just to try it, and I did actually try it on a garment, and I didn't like it for garments. So now I wanted to find something to knit on, like a project in between when I'm done with an object and I'm trying to figure out what to knit up next. So these are the yarns. They are all wool or merino. It doesn't say much on the label, but it does say that like this pink one is first grade Australian wool, 70%, anti-pilling fiber. I don't know what that is, 30%. Moisture regain, 10%. And it is a 50-gram ball. It does not say anything about what needle size to use on it. So, but it is more than okay to be using on a blanket like this, and I think it's gonna be super cute here in my cozy little corner. This one was a baby merino, and it says 25 nylon, 75 merino wool. This one actually says you can knit it up in 1 to 4 millimeter needles or US 4 to 5, I don't know. It says it has a gauge of 18 to 20 meters. No, 18 to 20 stitches. The last one is a brown wool yarn. Also says first class. It is really squishy, but it does, like, when I knit with it, it comes out with like pilling and stuff. So it says first class, 95% wool, 5% acrylic, normal weight 50 grams. Moisture regain, I've never heard about that before. What does that mean? Do you know? I don't know. But it is squishy and perfect for my blanket project. The thing about my blanket project is that I am venturing a bit outside of my monogamous knitter path, and that is because a blanket does take a really long time, you know. So knitting a blanket like in between projects, I think that will be a nice thing to have. So I'm gonna be a monogamous knitter still, with a blanket on the side maybe. It's not that I have a lot of work in progress. It's just that I have this one thing that that I can work on now and then when craving something easy to do, you know? So this is gonna be her. I had one color of this one of the white one. I think when I'm done with the blanket, I'm gonna have like a border in white all around the blanket, and that I had some leftovers from my Vilma top. Yes, something like that. Also, we need to talk about this situation. I hate, like everyone else, weaving in ends, and for a blanket like this, there's super many ends to weave in. I have to set like a number for myself on the metered squares for how many I am allowed to knit before I like turn it around, weave in all the ends, so that I am not doing like the whole blanket and then I'm left with weaving in ends for a whole year afterwards, you know. That is going to take me such a long time. It is better to do it on the go, you know. Okay, so colorful, I love it. You know, the reason why I started my metered square blanket was mainly because I wanted to use up the yarn that was just lying there, and I knew I wouldn't be using it for a garment, because I tried that and I didn't like how it came out. So using the yarn for a blanket like this, it is super duper. Also, I tried sitting down and I couldn't like figure out what I wanted to knit up next. So I decided to do a little scrolling through Ravelry and come up with 4 patterns that I felt like I was craving to knit. It didn't matter if I had the yarn or if I had to buy the yarn. Like the only yarn I have in a sweater quantity right now is for the Ingrid sweater that I already shared, but I'm not craving knitting up the Ingrid sweater right now, so I'm saving that for another time. So let's go through my 4 patterns that I have found on Ravelry and see if we can decide together what to knit next. So something that I have been craving for fall is the cozy, long, little bit oversized garment. And the other thing I have been craving is the slit on the side. I love a sweater with a slit. Like this, kinda. This vest just have a slit. I didn't think about it, but yeah. So the first pattern I came up with, or I found that I really craved knitting, was sweater number 33 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. This is a sweater that is knit up on 5mm needles, and it has a gauge of 16 stitches. Pattern is a top-down oversized raglan pattern. It has a high neck and it has a slit on the side. I do like the raglan on it does go all the way down, following the slit on the side. That is a super cute detail I love about this pattern. So that is option number 1. Option number 2 is, let's see if I can say this correct. It is the Volair Cape sweater by Agionit. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but it's how it's pronounced. No, it's how it's written. This pattern uses a size 4mm needle and has a gauge of 18 stitches. The pattern is an open sweater construction with a cape-like silhouette. It also has dramatic bat-wing sleeves and a rolled neck. And as a finish I like, it also has a slit. It's a big slit, so I don't know if I am actually loving this slit, but it really looks super cool on the pictures on Ravelry. The third option was the Smilla sweater by Anne Wenzel. This sweater is knit up on a 5mm needle and has a gauge of 20 stitches. This is an oversized sweater with a sophisticated all-over cable pattern. It is worked seamlessly, and guess what? It also has a slit on the sides. I'm really loving this pattern because it doesn't look like a simple pattern. The cables on it looks super cool, and I think this one really stands out. So for my option number 4 and the last option I have, it is the Honey cardigan by Knitters and Friends. I have been eyeballing this cardigan for such a long time, and I want to knit it up in like a Bordeaux color. But the recommended yarn for this exact pattern is the Peer Gynt from Sandnesgarn. And I have not knit with this yarn before, but I have felt it in the store, and I kind of feel like the yarn feels very rustic and like itchy. It is also knit up with mohair, one strand mohair, one strand Peer Gynt. And the mohair they used was thin silk mohair. And I've been knitting with that mohair before, and I kind of feel like that was really itchy on my skin. So if I were to knit this one up in Peer Gynt, I would probably change the mohair into something I know that doesn't itch. It is a oversized cardigan with a O-neck, top down, stockinette, and a double knit button band. I really love this pattern. I have seen very many people knitting this one up, and it looks super comfortable and just something to put on when it's cold and you can snuggle up in your blanket with a hot cup of coffee or tea or a chocolate. Yeah. Ooh. So that was for my patterns that I have been going through, thinking about knitting up. Over to something else. I have been watching way too many vlogs of the Flock Fiber Festival lately while knitting on my metered square blanket. And I just gotta say, I am super envious on the people that got to attend Flock. I live in Norway. It is a long trip for me to travel to the US. If I even dare travel to the US, it depends on if I'm going alone or if I'm going with someone else. But I would love to attend something like that one day. I don't know if I would travel if I had the opportunity to it. You know, I have been speaking about my social anxiety, and going to something like that is a lot of people and a lot of having to take in so much at one time. But from all the vlogs I have seen, it looks super amazing. All the boots, all the yarn, all the fibers, all the colors, everything looks super fun and amazing. And going around, meeting so many people that you maybe only have seen on YouTube that you can say hi to in reality or in real life, that would be amazing. It is like when you see someone on a video, you kind of feel like you get to know them somehow, or you know how they are just from seeing them, and that is super cool. And just being a part of that community, the knitting community, it is awesome. I think that if I had went to a festival like that, a yarn festival, I would have come back with a broken economy. No, I would have made myself like a budget and tried to stay inside that budget, but seeing so much yarn and fiber and color and every notions and bags and stuff like that, I think I would have gone over my budget, probably. Going around in boots, feeling all the yarn, I would love to do that, even though I am scared of people. Yeah, I think that would be amazing. So I think my answer to myself is, if I would ever get a chance to travel to something like that, I would. Okie dokie. I think I have narrowed it all down for patterns that we went through. There is one of those patterns that is standing out to me, and that is the Smilla sweater by Anne Wenzel. I'm just loving the sophisticated all over cable pattern for this sweater, and it looks super comfy. It has like a bit higher neck than normal, and I will love it so much. I want it in my wardrobe. So I think that that is the pattern that I'm opting for to knit next. If you had to choose one of those 4 patterns that we went through, what would be your choice? Okay, I guess this will be my next knit, unless I change my mind tomorrow. I don't think I will. Also, I do have plans for knitting the honey cardigan as well. It's just further down the line, but yeah, it is coming in a Bordeaux color, I am telling you right now. Before we go, I want to share something personal with you guys. I lost my grandmother 2 days ago. She had been sick for about 2 weeks now, and finally she got some rest. She was my biggest fan when it came to knitting. When we came to visit her, she always asked about what I was wearing, if I was knitting on something new. She had a big interest in me and my knitting journey. Thank you so much for watching and joining me on this knitting journey path. I don't know what to call it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I would love to hear what you are currently knitting. Let me know in the comments. Until next time, bye.